Check out this free video and make sure you hit like and subscribe. So then Adam Pearce comes down and introduces Woods and Kofi. They got a big celebration set up in the middle of the ring. The crowd's chanting New Day rocks. And Woods says being a part of this thing for 10 years was more than we could have ever dreamed. Kofi said we couldn't have done this without each other, couldn't have done it without the fans as well. The fans are chanting for Big E. Woods says, yeah, we miss him too. But we want to come out here and tell you fans that what we're about to tell you right now, it's not your fault. We have nothing but love for all of you. Kofi says we've talked, and in light of what happened last week, we both felt that when it comes to the New Day going forward, and suddenly they're interrupted by Big E. And Big E comes out, big ovation. He says, you two arguing and bickering, saying the most hurtful things to each other, troubled my soul. When we started this 10 years ago, we were all we had. Kofi, 10 years ago, you were mulling retirement because a passion was beaten out of you. Didn't they say he was a Hall of Famer? Woods, you and I were this close to getting fired. And
I don't know if they really were.
One of the worst days of my life, the two of you were at my bedside for hours making sure I was all right.
You know. Did you read the Big E story today?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a really good. He did a very nice story in Players Tribune. The one thing that I remember, like again, everyone sees things differently and all. But when he was in FCW, I mean, I remember from one of the guys in FCW was pretty good friends of mine, and he used to like rave about Big E, about how this guy was going to change the business because he's so strong and so quick on his feet and agile, and how the company was way behind him, and it's seems like he didn't know any of this, and just kind of thought, well, I mean, he was floundering on the main roster before New Day. I mean, that is true. They even push off the bat. He was starting to flounder, but I don't think that he was close to being fired. Now, Woods, without New Day, I don't think Woods was going to make it, honestly. But with New Day, obviously, they, look, they had a great run. Kofi was already a star, but became a much bigger star with New Day.
So Big E says, it means a hell of a lot to me, you guys. Until I am medically cleared to return to the ring, I'm going to remind you two who you are. I'm going to be here to cheer for you, to root for you. I'll be here every single week to serve as your managers. And the fans all cheer. And they cut to Woods and Kofi, and they're not happy. And Woods says, now you want to come back? You watched us fight for months, argue to the edge of a cliff, and now you're going to jump in and want to come back? You left us. And Big E says, I broke my neck. And Kofi said, you left us. You broke your neck. So what? Stone Cold broke his neck. He came back. Kurt Angle broke his neck. He came back. Edge broke his neck. He came back. Wood says, they didn't even come back for anybody waiting for him.
Yeah. Well, Big E had the C1. His neck injury was way worse than theirs, so just a big difference.
Kofi said, as big and strong as you are, you never even had surgery on your neck. You couldn't have come back here a long time ago? Big E says, I've been having scans, meeting with doctors. Wood says, you know what I did? I tore my Achilles off the bone. I actually had to have surgery. I was back in 9 months for you. Kofi said, Big E, if you really cared about us, you'd have been back a long time ago. You'd have been by our side, encouraging us. No, you chose your new life over us, your project, your new girlfriend, your desk job. Wood says, do you know the burden you've become? Everywhere we go, people say they miss you, like we don't miss you. And obviously, you don't miss us. Kofi says, our philosophy has always been about brotherhood, we before me, but you, broken neck or not, you chose yourself over us. And they told him basically to get the hell out of here, go back to your desk job, we'll call you when we need you. And Big E said, no, you're not going to throw this away like this. He goes for a hug. Kofi stops him. Woods won't even look at him. The fans try to chant Big E rocks. Big E saying, is it really going to end like this? They won't answer. And so he sadly leaves the ring. And after he's gone, Kofi and Woods, they have a long stare down. And then Woods says, now it's just you and me. And Kofi says, it's just us, bro. So they didn't break up. They have turned heel on Big E. And they will now have a run as a heel tag team.
Well, it's probably a good thing. for the long term, because if they'd done the breakup, I don't think it would have been good for Woods. It might have been okay for Kofi, but I think he would also, after the original feud, would have probably floundered. Or just, I don't say floundered, that's a bad word. He'd have been lost in the mix. Woods would have had a lot of trouble as a single, as a heel, on his own. So this was the best way to do it. You know, I think they pulled it off. You know, yeah, they got stale as baby faces, no doubt. So yeah, they did a great job here.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notify button, and you'll never miss a video again.